There is no single reason why a relationship begins to break down.
When you begin to see the predictable sequence of events, then that is when you realize that there's something wrong. Today we are discussing avoiding generalized pattern in a marriage. We hope that it's going to give you more insight, to take you back to where you used to be. Welcome, and let's get this more. So this sequence of events that lead towards something is the generalized pattern that we want to avoid. Now, to help us understand this, we have, of course, Richard and Tabby, the residence guests. We always love them. We love their presence. Wow, look at that.
Today you want to kill us. Hi. How are
Tabby
you?
is always smiles when
Richard, how are you?
Richard is around.
Karibu sana.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome
Karibuni
so
Thank you very
much.
much.
Thank you.
Now, before we sit, there's another couple.
Okay.
They've been married for 2 years. A lovely couple. And this couple is a special couple. I'm going to tell you why they're special while we'll be discussing.
Okay.
We have Wycliffe and Brenda.
Oh, okay.
Wycliffe and Brenda, come in. It is good to see you.
Karibuni sana.
Wonderful to have you.
Hello, Wycliffe.
Thank you. How are you?
Good, good, good.
Hi, Wycliffe.
Nice to see you.
Karibu sana. The chemistry is still... Brenda, karibu sana. Ladies and gentlemen, let us have our seats.
Thank you.
We have a plate
Thank you.
of things to avoid.
Wow, thank you very much.
How are the kids doing?
Good, good.
Both of you?
good.
They're all right. They're fine.
Now,
We're grateful.
Thank you.
again, thank you so much for coming. This is the place to be. And from this living room, there's a lot that comes out.
Yeah.
And I want to thank you for heeding to our call to come.
Thank you so much.
Of course, Richard and Tabby, always.
Thank you.
Now, our topic is avoiding generalized patterns in marriage. Here you are. There is your mode of operation, but then you realize that there is something new that is happening. We want to address that because this something new normally tends towards the negative. It could be finances, it could be chats or text messages that used not to happen or used not to. It could be time. So welcome and let's do this. Richard, why is it that we need to avoid generalized patterns?
Because when something is done over and over again, there's contempt which normally develops. And it generally brings some weaknesses. When patterns are just same all the times, you tend to eventually take it for granted. Yes. And you definitely don't care anymore about it. Yeah. You end up not caring. You end up not seeing what you want to see or what you expect to see. Yes. Because it's just repeated over and over again.
So when this is repeated, you said you get used to it, and then now you take it for granted.
Yes, you kind of...
Yeah, you
It's
take
like you
it
form a
for
barrier,
granted.
like
As a
you've
very-
gotten used to it
Yes.
till you
You
create
don't see
something
the
like
importance.
Yeah.
It brings in some element of madharau.
kind of, doesn't matter, it's the same every day.
That's him.
Yeah, it's just the same.
So what are some of the examples of these generalized patterns that you may not be able to tell from your experience? You may not be able to tell now, but you see them happen. Because Linda began by telling us, and I will read, there is no single reason why a relationship begins to break down.
Yes.
No single reason. You see, this is a sequence. It's a beginning of something. It's piling up. It's building up. It's building up, and then it becomes now a usual thing.
Yes.
It's building up patterns. I talked about finances. Who manages finances in your house?
It's both of us.
No, there's that one who has a veto power. So to speak.
Who's the bank?
Yeah, who is the banker? All right. Or rather, how do you spend your finances?
At the beginning of a month, we have a budget. Then from that budget, he has something to bring in, I have something to bring in. So we combine, and we spend as per the budget. Yeah.
So, picking from that example,
Yes.
there is a bit that Wycliffe brings, there is a bit that Brenda brings. So suppose this month Wycliffe tells you, I bring half of it. He brings half of it and now tells you, honey, I have this, I had this emergency that I had to sort. That is the first month. Second month, he gives another one. The third month, he gives another one. Now the fourth month, things are now different. That is a generalized pattern that we are talking about. That something that never used to happen.
Yes.
Does it happen?
It's likely to happen, and when it happens, you are inviting an argument, and if you don't address the argument, then it will lead to another level. Now to a conflict. And then if you are not able to sit down and discuss, the first thing is where the half goes. So if you cannot explain where it goes, that's now where the problem begins.
Exactly. So that is what we are building here.
Yes.
There is something that is happening. You're observing it. You probably don't know how to talk about it, but it is happening.
And when it's happening, are you giving reasons which are genuine that I can see, or you say, like, for example, the one that you've given for the finances. This time around you bring half, you tell me that you had to deal with an emergency. Did I know what was the emergency? Or do you keep quiet, or do you give me the information? Yeah.
Or do you spend it first and then you talk about it?
Yeah.
Or do you talk about it first before you
So
spend
it depends.
So I think talking about it first before spending is key. Yeah, which most of us don't do. Yeah, you just in town and you have an emergency as a woman, you see some shoes, and of course that is not an emergency. That is true.
I like the way you've put it.
Yeah,
You
that's why I
have
had
your
to do that,
emergency.
yeah, because you're thinking, if I don't get these shoes, I will not get them, and probably they're on offer. You know, we like offers. Yeah.
There are two
So,
things here.
Yeah.
I think that we need to be very clear on why we say that familiarity can bring problems. Sometimes, and it's common, it's a saying, it's very common that familiarity brings contempt. But this kind of familiarity we are talking about, this doing of things, does not come out clearly as a familiarity. We are married, and Richard does A and Tabitha does B. Then Richard begins to do A and D, which Tabitha doesn't know. Yes. When I do it for the first time, she may not take it as a serious thing.
Yep.
If I repeat it, as you were saying a few minutes ago when you were narrating yours, then when I do it again and again and again, then we begin to think. This is not one of the things that we ought to be doing. But Richard is doing it repeatedly.
Yeah.
He did it last time, he's done it again this time. The following month probably is going to do it. I need to stop it.
Yep.
Yes. So when we talk of that, we are looking at a situation which encompasses what is coming in that is not within what we normally do.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that can create a serious conflict.
Yeah.
A serious conflict, because we ought to be doing things together
Yeah.
and on agreement. But now
There's
I'm
a
beginning
breakdown.
to bring in things which are not really what our family does or what we do as a couple. Then that has a tendency, or that can lead to pointing fingers at each other.
Yeah, that's true.
And
And once we
branding.
go to that, the milk is spilled.
The other example that I would want Brenda and Wycliffe to respond to is prayer life. Family prayer life, family devotion and prayer. And again, don't look at your marriage. Maybe because we are talking generally, and we will also come back to specifics if you have any, so that we can help our viewer out there. Prayer and devotion, it's normally done at this point or at this time. But because there is another program that has come, so we have to change our timing to
Yes.
another time.
Yes, to a different.
Yes.
Okay, well, what happens when there is a conflict and you have not solved, one possible likelihood, your communication breaks down.
Yeah. That's
So if you can't talk,
Yeah.
it becomes difficult to pray together.
That's true.
It becomes difficult to worship together. So unless one of the couple or the two of you, you decide to put aside the difference and then pray to God. Then in your prayer, maybe you can mention the difference you have. Maybe after you say amen, may have a smile.
I like
That is-
the
Are you praying when this person is looking at you, or you do it personally, like at a corner?
Some people are very sensitive.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
That's what I'm asking.
this man, my husband is praying to God because he's asking God.
We have this
Yeah.
family time,
Yeah.
prayer time.
Yeah.
Maybe you have a specific time, evening, and you find that the evening, maybe for us, after food, there are those who like before food.
Yeah,
So you finished eating, and you now need to do some prayers before you go to sleep.
Yeah.
And you find that during the day, maybe there are some expectations that were not met. Now, we are at the table. I want him to start the prayers. He's looking at me. We are going to lead today. Then he's like, who's going to start? Then you find, you find this tension. Now, unless you come down on the table and say, look, God has to come first. Our differences has to follow later. And it's only through this God that you're going to do what? To find a solution, even for this baggage of expectation that are not met.
You know why I love devotion, family devotion? At times maybe you have a situation and you have really been longing to talk it out with your spouse and you're not able
You open
to.
that
You
mouth.
can say it even in the prayer.
No, just as Richard says that
Richard.
there are some people who are sensitive. Yeah.
Dear
Let me
Jesus,
tell you,
you
at
see,
that point that you say something, you say there was a problem, and
if
you
know
mention
God
it in
knows.
prayer.
Yeah.
The next thing is that I look at
You know,
you.
some
Yeah.
things you learn even through the prayer,
talking
through
about
somebody's prayer. Yeah.
Are you telling God about me? Because I did that which I did? Come on.
Some things you know, some things you just hear through prayers. You've had a long day and somebody's praying, Lord, remember so and so they lost their husband. Like, oh, okay. So there's a funeral. You know. So
But Richard is mentioning something.
Yeah.
yeah,
When you are praying about
a situation
a situation, and then already Richard is forming
that
a curtain.
yeah.
Why is she praying about? Are you praying about me?
You're accusing
Why is she
me
praying
before
about
God.
me?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like you're accusing
Yeah, that
me
is
before
also
God.
yeah,
You know?
that also happens.
That's the point that's trying to bring out. It's like you're accusing me before God. You know, some people are very sensitive to that.
Yeah.
Some people can be very sensitive. But all in all, why would that be is a
If
question.
there is no communication.
Yes. Why would that be?
Yeah, if there is no
Let me-
If this person
let me
has
just-
really tried to reach to you and
Yes.
you're not responding,
Okay.
so he decides to look for another way to just bring a point home.
And if it may warm my thinking very quickly so that I get into the issue and address it, you feel it's better that way.
Yeah.
Richard, Brenda said something here that I think we need to bring home. When expectations are not met. Expectations can be even that good morning.
Yes.
In the morning you wake up and Wycliffe is, he's in his world and you're asking yourself, okay, the first time you may assume. The second time you may assume with a question mark. The third time it's no longer a question mark. So this is the
Nowadays,
generalized
it doesn't
pattern. Exactly.
Nowadays,
Yes.
even if I try, he won't even greet you in the morning. So
And what can that result to, apart from conflict?
you shut down.
Contempt, then your attitude towards your partner will change.
Yes.
Yes.
Without even knowing,
By the way, yeah.
without even, you are not even addressing this. It's an observation you're making.
Yes. Many times, when it hits you that that's what is going on, we kind of, I always like to say, we do a grandstanding. Now, I'm waiting for her.
Yeah.
Tabitha is saying this. I'll get her. Because I know what she likes to do and where she goes wrong. If I'm a forgiving person all the time, or when she does things which I don't expect, then I'm now going to take that and target her,
Like, yeah.
to hit her. I could probably request that I'm the one who's praying today, and then I talk about whatever she did.
Yeah, and it's
Then
not, yeah.
It's not healthy.
Yeah.
But our grandstanding
leads
is,
you to
it leads
that
us to
point.
that.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
you want to hit back.
Yeah.
You want to pay back.
To defend yourself.
You want to defend yourself. And it's not enough that you're defending.
Yeah.
You want to hit back as well.
Bas.
Do you know, I know my wife, I will say, that is Linda. That is Brenda. That is Wycliffe.
Yes.
So we have those examples.
Yeah.
Give me money, she will tell you my pattern. And she will be like, well, that is him.
Yes.
Then it gets to that point. Don't you think this is going to be a point of breakage? Is there something that can be done to avoid this? Because we are talking about avoiding generalized pattern. Yes, we have mentioned this, even as simple as good morning. What do you think you can do?
I think when an opinion has been formed about your partner,
I love that when an opinion and based on a pattern.
yes, then a trend has begun, which is going to the worst.
Wycliffe, you're speaking big words. An opinion has been formed. A trend has begun.
Yes.
Yes.
So which you need to address before it gets worse.
It's true.
Because the end of it, your communication will break down, trust will break down, you no longer trust him with money, and then you just think that's how he is. You can't talk,
Then you start avoiding each other.
Yeah.
start avoiding each other.
Okay.
The text messages that you used to send, you don't send. You pretty much the whole day, you don't even communicate. You understand? And then when you meet in the evening, it's like business as usual, but it's...
Let me give an example of maybe the finance part. Maybe you used to give me your ATM card, and once the money is home, we come and put it on the table. Then it reaches a time, you don't bring it, and I'm like, this month, why didn't you know? I didn't get something, and I got something small. You're not telling me this small thing. How much is the small? Then it reaches a time, you don't even communicate to me. Me, I will be assuming that anyway, at the end of the month, he has money. So you've not told me how much you have. So me, I will be assuming that there is money. So even if maybe something went wrong and it went down, I don't know what's happening because you're not even sharing with me. So I will start assuming a lot of things, by the way, will be created in my mind.
Especially if it is a pattern.
Yeah.
You know, for a pattern, you can easily draw and say, hapo, it went down, up, it went down. So as he's saying, this a trend.
Yes.
A trend is forming. When a trend starts forming, expectations are not met, especially in our now intimate life. As a couple, there are things that we do, starting from as simple as good morning.
Yes.
How are you? Linda knows that when I am with her, there are things that I do to her.
Yes.
However busy she is, there are things that I do. So this time I come to the house and don't do it, just sit. Don't you think it will prick you to start asking questions? What is happening to you? Or you'll, you know, there is that bit that before the pattern is formed, there is you.
Yeah.
We always say here that the only person that can change is you. Don't you think that, I mean, what runs into your mind when such a thing happens, Linda, now that I've mentioned you?
A lot of things happen, by the way. We are human. You'll start imagining a lot of things that brings you back to that answer, the action that is happening. So you are in your world and you have these lots of ideas, and you'll at times want to imagine that, let me just assume, but there's something that tells you, no, you need to get the root of this thing. So, you know, I'm in that place where I don't know, so much energy. Sometimes it wants to come to the positive or to the negative. So you're just confused. Yeah.
It gets to a point now, someone seems like they're nagging.
Yeah.
Because you're
I
asking
ask
me
you the
this
same
thing every
question.
day, every time.
All the time, yeah.
Firstly, Dave, I believe that the trends are not good. Trends are not natural. We just form them given situations.
Yeah.
We go into certain trends. When you take your normal life and the normal things you do every day and change them to set a new trend, you are not doing a good thing, because it's not you. And trends are very noticeable very quickly because they don't form your normal pattern of doing things. The moment you do something that's unusual and you do it again and again, you are forming a trend, and that trend is not a good one. Because whoever is receiving from you, whether it's words, whether it's finances, whatever it is, will have to think about it. And they can have their own opinion that Richard is forming a trend here. At every month end, he doesn't come home early. Because it's a trend. Once it's a third or fourth time, it has become a trend.
Yes.
It's not him. The reason you'll question, Tabitha will question, is because that's not me. Yes. I'm coming up with a new thing. Trends are only good for some TV programs away from culture. That's where you can have trend. But in the home, in the house, they are not the best. You will have conflicts when you have to bring in new trends. Yeah.
Also, trends happen when you are not willing to hit. You have seen a behavior, or there's something you expected, but it didn't happen. So the one who was expecting is not hitting, or is not addressing. So you're also forming a trend. So both of you are forming a trend.
It's a reaction. Because, it is not normal. It's out of the normal. So what do you do? See, and even if you start finding a way of dealing with this other thing,
and then
which is
nobody
not
wants
normal.
to be the bigger person. Nobody wants to talk about it. So it becomes a little hard.
Yeah, so trend is forming on both sides. Brenda, have you ever had a situation where there is this phrase that is put on you, siku hizi, these days?
Chapati zako hata sita.
What comes into your mind when such a word is, when such a phrase is thrown to you?
You know, at first, it starts in your mind. You start tripping psychologically. Just look at your partner. The way he's doing things, it's changing. Then you find at first, at early days, it was not so. Then when you try to ask, maybe he tells you like, the day was busy. Maybe I had a bad day. Or it's a bit late. Let's do it tomorrow. I'm tired. Then
Good excuse.
excuses.
Yeah.
Then the next day, another issue will come up. You expect he was to come and tackle the other one, but it is piling up. He didn't.
Yeah.
So you find you are starting to rip apart slowly by slowly. Then by the time you are coming to tackle the fourth issue, the first issue has not been tackled.
Yeah, true.
So it's bottling up. That is where now contempt accumulates. And when it accumulates, now you go to the stage where you are. You're making now a stone wall. You're building your wall. You're adding one stone on top of another until it becomes like the Tower of Babel.
You've not even talked about
You've
the
not even
thickness.
talked about the thickness.
Yes.
So by the time you reach that point, if none of you will humble himself down,
Yeah.
if all of you will just remain, I'm superior, all, you assume. You assume and say, I was expecting maybe tomorrow. Those expectations, if you see they are bottling up, it's better you just say, even when you see there's like a small mood that is changing, bring it on table. Say, even today our prayer meeting is going to talk about our family.
We are coming back because we want to avoid these generalized patterns. We are taking a short break, then we come back to understand what best can we do to avoid these generalized patterns. Let's take a break. Welcome back. Avoiding generalized pattern is what we are discussing here. And when we talk about avoiding, it means that there are patterns that are not good. One of the good patterns in this show is that we have to take a break, then we come back. But a bad pattern for a family is you used to say good morning, you no longer say good morning. You used to put your money together. You no longer put your money together. You used to help with the baby, especially at night. It is my turn to take the baby, to change the baby, but it's no longer happening. Linda started by saying, there is no single reason why a marriage or a relationship should begin to break. Conflicts arise, and these conflicts begin from somewhere. Patterns, trend, and then they become habits. Patterns, trends, becoming habits. I want to give an example. Let me give, which example should I give? Yes.
About what? About the...
A generalized pattern that is tending towards the negative that I need to avoid. Then now we come to what we need to do, right? I used not to watch soccer, for example. But these days I've developed this intense interest that instead of having our family time over the weekends, I am out. The first weekend, second weekend, third weekend. Don't you think I'm creating some conflict here?
Yeah.
So Wycliffe.
A conflict has been created, and possibly there's something you're avoiding.
Yes.
Something you're avoiding. I
Yes.
like that. Wow.
And when you are avoiding, you'll start defensive mechanism.
Yes.
So if I want to avoid you, I'll create a defense mechanism. And when I put that defense, it means you are no longer tackling it. You are drifting apart.
And then you want to blame the other person.
Then you start blaming the other person.
Right.
Or you call or you brand them.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Call them names.
So and so.
He's so arrogant.
Wycliffe is just arrogant. That is my and ladies, I want to accuse you.
Okay.
You are very good
I'm doing
in
that.
And why not
in accusing us, but you do it in a very diplomatic way.
How?
That is my husband.
I know. That's my husband for you.
That's my husband for you. Doesn't even bother taking. I'm the one who struggles.
I call, and I can't get you because you're in a very noisy place. You're watching a football match. Then I call Linda. I say, oh, Dave Arsenal. Dave Manchester. Oh, that's Manchester. You don't know Manchester is playing.
Don't you know who is playing today?
They have a match. So instead of telling me, oh, Dave is not home, he's gone out to watch football match with his friends or whatever. Because I'm already beginning to resent it, I'm saying, oh, Dave the Manchester man, he's away now. You are getting a second name.
Yeah, sarcastic.
Yes, sarcastic. You are passing the information to me. That don't ask me about Dave now. When this team is playing, he's away. He's the Manchester himself. Yeah.
For finances, they will say, he is very good. But finances, I'm praying for him.
Yeah, that is so
Ladies, you are
sarcastic.
accused, you
Yeah.
can now
And
defend
at times,
yourselves.
Yes.
not even ladies. There are some men who don't even, when they don't apologize. So someone, when they make a mistake, someone will tell you. You will wait for them, even if you somersault. They will never. Me, I've gotten used to it by the way. He will never.
And even if they do it, they just do it for the sake of
Yeah,
it.
no,
Oh,
some
I'm sorry.
don't.
Okay, I'm sorry.
They just don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
So their
But
pride and arrogance.
Yeah.
But that man is brown. He cannot. Yeah.
You are talking as if this is what we do in our house.
Not all of you.
No,
Not really. We are,
Anyway.
we have to.
Anyway, that's just for laughter. But this is how the conflicts are enhanced in the family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It starts from a very generalized thing, just a general thing which shouldn't be an issue. But that is where it starts from.
Yeah.
And when it piles up and piles up, then it becomes a problem, a serious one. Yeah. It should be stopped, or it should stop the moment it starts. I said earlier that trends are not good because trends are not original. If I'm a football lover, for example, she would know it from the onset
Yeah.
that I'm a football lover. I love football. So football time, she will give me my time because she knows, oh,
knows.
this is what
Yeah.
Richard is, and pender that one, and let him just continue. It doesn't affect me because this is how he has been through. But when it comes out suddenly,
Yeah.
when it was not there initially,
yes.
and you're developing it, that's where conflict.
There's something.
Yeah.
And as Brenda said, there is something, is it Brenda or Wycliffe? There's something you are avoiding.
Yes.
Brenda.
And that, so you are now on the defensive stage.
Yes.
If Linda asks me for money, I would defend myself, saying, you think I misused the other bit that I was to put in
Yeah.
here. It went into something good, which I will never explain. I also defend myself when you start, I have just come up from nowhere. I want to go and watch a football match. Then Linda is, again, this other trend. But then now we want to sort this conflict. Already it's a conflict and it's tearing these people apart.
Yeah.
They are drifting. So then how do you come back? How do you come back from this defensive stage? Because if you continue with this defense, what is going to happen?
So
You will get your
the problem comes
Yeah.
when a conflict has arisen. The feelings of contempt comes in, and when you have contempt to your spouse, one thing you become impatient.
Yeah.
You don't respect goes down, and then even when you on small things you are talking, you just interrupt. You're not rested.
You don't have emotional reserve.
Now, when it happens like that, it becomes like termites eating the foundation of your love.
I love that.
So,
In that case, you are going,
And you see, termites don't just eat it once,
yes,
they eat it slowly, but they are eating it for sure.
yeah.
So what then do we do? My first place would be talk about it.
But before we ask what we need to do, we need to say what will happen if we move from this stage where we defend ourselves.
You'll break.
Breakdown.
Yeah.
Yes, straight away.
So
Yeah.
breakdown here can mean total breakdown or
Yes.
total separation, but there is always this breakdown that I want us to discuss. This breakdown, you are within, but
You decided to shut down.
Without
to put
at the
a
same
screen
yes, you
saver.
are within but without at the same time.
Yeah.
The two of you can live together.
Yeah.
Not if you are no longer staying together, but
Yeah.
you are living
Living.
together, but separate ways.
That's a bad point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very, very bad level.
You
If
find
you are-
when
yes.
you come to the house, silence mechanism.
Nil by
Listen.
mouth.
Yes.
Is that what is called Cold War?
Yes.
Yeah.
You are silent. Then when you look at him, you want to talk, you say, will you really listen?
I like that facial expression.
Yeah, it's like, let me just chill.
Let me just chill. Then you find you are starting to rip apart.
Yeah.
Right.
It may start as psychologically in your mind, then it will come physical. And now when it becomes physical, it may go even the basic needs, you deprive them of. You don't bring.
That's
Now
very
the
bad.
family starts suffering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
When it's suffering, it means it's breaking down.
Yeah.
Sometimes you may find that even the roles that were being done just normally, they're not now being done. If you have kids, they'll just see.
Yes.
And when they see, some who are
something.
sensitive will just ask, and mommy, you didn't do this today. And dad, you didn't do this today. Then it comes to a point now, everything is breaking apart. And by breaking apart, you might be in the same house, but things are not working out. It might be in your mind, even if you're at job, it's not adding up. If you are on the way, that's now when you find your mental health starts being affected.
Yeah.
Then you start developing some complications. Only to find that the problem was that silence. You don't know what this person is thinking. You don't know what he's
No
thinking.
one wants to talk to
You are
break the
ripping
ice.
apart. You are separated but under one.
You don't look forward to even going to the house.
Yeah, you dread going back to the house.
You don't even,
I wish
long
I had another 8 hours in this office.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would just
So
stay
meaning
here.
you tend to shift your attention towards another. You channel your energy so that each time equals shortened, so that you're not able to.
And that
That's
is
when
what,
you
shoulders,
find
yeah.
people go to soccer for long before they come at home, so that they just come and sleep.
yeah,
Yeah.
They wake
because
up tomorrow.
Yeah.
that is when you are
It has
very
gone.
vulnerable.
Yeah.
Vulnerable to situations which you probably wouldn't even have considered in the first time or the first place. That's when you're vulnerable to your friends, saying, oh, where are you going to today? You begin to ask, where are you going today? We are going for ABCD.
Yeah, I can join you.
Let me just join you.
Yeah.
Yes. There must be a way of solving this thing early enough before it reaches that place
Yeah, yeah.
where you are torn apart. Yeah. Discuss it. I say the first point of sorting out any problem
Communication.
must be a way. You must have a way of talking about
Yeah.
it. Yeah. It is something that you begin to talk about so that you are in control of it. When you run away because things have gone very bad, you are actually becoming very weak to your own problems. You want to listen to your problems. You must control them.
You must face.
Problems are things that must be faced,
Yeah.
must be challenged. That's when you can surmount them. If not, they will go on top of your head and you won't have anywhere else to go to. You will not be able to manage the situation. Yes.
And you know, when you're ready to sort them, most of the times, for example, your spouse, the other spouse might just be ready to blame you. Like you bring a situation that, hey, you know, this and this is not happening. They'll start reminding you of your past. You understand? So you're like, okay, we want to sort out this. But you did this or that the other day. So you ended up, you end up
Because
not
you
even,
piled.
instead of sorting it out, you
Yes.
continue building whatever's that Brenda was talking
Because
about.
the previous one was
Exactly.
not sorted.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes we resort to our old
Habits.
habits
Yeah.
or run into the old people. You run to your mother, I run to my mother. I know that I go, let me see my mother. When there is no reason for that,
you
you're just
go to
avoiding
social
to go.
media.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, let me get in the social media.
Oh yeah, social media, our
Yeah.
in-laws.
So, you tend to have substitutes because you are not
Yeah,
sorting
you
out
want
the
to
problem.
change
You're looking for a
to channel
filler.
Yes, something to fill up your time
Yeah.
so that whatever it is that you're going to have
How much to
is,
try to cover up? How much?
it's all that, yes.
There's something that Tabby, I was waiting for Tabby to mention, and I don't know why you didn't mention. Maybe these two cut you short. There's always this statement you say, it takes
Two.
a sober person.
Oh.
The bigger
Yes.
person.
Yes, it takes a sober person. What is the role of prayer in all this?
First of all, when you go to pray, your emotions will go down. You become balanced, and then you'll be able to reason out
Yeah, because you cannot go to God with your
anger.
With your argument.
Other times you're so angry.
So
Yeah.
your anger will go down. You be relieved at that moment. Then you'll be able to talk together. You have a ground to negotiate. Yeah.
Tabby, say it aloud. Sometimes you're so empty.
You're so
Angry.
angry.
Oh, okay.
And you don't even know how to talk to God.
Yeah.
Because this person that you really love is doing so much
That hurts you.
pain, it's causing so much pain. You don't even know how to talk to God. You're like, God, you know you gave me this person. The Tabitha that you gave me is just irritating me.
He is no longer
there's-
the person you love.
That is true
Yeah.
because,
When he
Yeah.
teaches that,
Yeah.
he's no longer that.
yeah, you're just there. You're just roommates.
You don't go to God to ask God.
You don't go to God to sugarcoat. You know that's the beauty about God.
And more than that,
Yeah.
If you've
you
decided
don't
to
go
be
to God
open.
blaming.
Most
You
of the
want-
times we blame,
That's the
sincerely.
thing. And my point is, you don't go to God blaming. You go to God for support, so that God
For
can support
direction.
you, for direction.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
this is where we normally lose it.
When in terms of prayer.
Yeah, in terms of prayer. You go to God, you want to accuse, oh my Lord, Richard is just this or that.
Why
Did you
did
allow
you...
me meet with Richard? He has even spoiled my life.
did I
go wrong?
Wasted
Where
my
did I go
time.
Then that
wrong?
now,
They go
that
wrong.
God,
now
you
is
went
not
wrong.
a prayer.
Yeah.
So it's
This-
I think another bit of prayer,
Yeah.
it will also act as a ground to meet. Maybe you go to talk, you eat, somebody is there, but prayer will also bring you together.
Especially when it is family prayers.
Yes.
Family prayers are very powerful. There's these words of this song that are coming into my mind. Oh, what a friend we have in Jesus. There's this other part that says, what needless pain we have to bear.
Yes.
All we need to do is to take it to the Lord in prayer.
Prayer.
Because
And also-
all, yes.
And also steps to Christ says, prayer is talking to God as a friend.
He is indeed a friend.
And he is indeed a friend.
Yeah.
The painless pain we bear, it's because we don't go to God as a friend. And when you go to God as a friend, it means your heart is genuine. You are already contrite.
Yes.
And you are even asking God to forgive this person even before he asks for forgiveness.
Goodness.
And by doing that, you will not again
Oh, what a powerful
have that.
We should just end the show. We should just end the show there. That is powerful.
You go to God. Talk to God as a friend. And you are not going to accuse another friend to a God.
Yeah.
Is this familiar with you? In the past, well, when I was young, we would always tell people, you'll see.
Yeah.
God will see
I'll
you.
tell you.
No, because,
Really
yes,
God
valid.
is going to punish
God is
you.
going to punish you.
Because God has told you that, right?
Because you are going to this
Yeah.
person, to accuse this person
Yeah,
before God.
yeah.
And that, I don't know whether God listens to that, honestly. The truth is, go to God as a friend.
True.
And speak to God as a friend who already understands your predicament. And seek help from Him because He has solutions to every kind of conflict.
He does.
What is the role of family time? Not family times, this program, but family time, where you just create time, people sit, and we just talk.
Bonding.
Yes,
Bonding.
bonding.
There's the aspect of bonding.
Mm.
When you just come together, people share, you laugh, you either cry. It brings you together. Yeah.
Yeah, that fellowship is key.
Those tears are like glue. That fellowship is key.
Another thing is maybe for 1 week you are not talking, Now when you have a
1 week is such a long time for me.
You say 1
For
week,
a
and there
son
are others
like
who
myself.
keep like more than 10 months.
10
Don't-
months?
Yeah, they don't
Yeah.
talk to that person, and they in the
already
same
gone.
house. It happens.
You had a point.
yes, for 1 week maybe we have not talked together, but we have gone for family time. So the smile you get from your partner,
Oh.
it will act like a medicine in your heart.
Brenda, that was directed to you. Keep that smile. It is working. You done?
Wow.
Wow.
That is the family time together. It bonds. You see, when Linda smiles.
Especially if you have kids by there and you've decided to zip it. Sometimes they will try and ask a question that you'll need to answer. And at that point, by the way, you'll just find yourself that anger has at least gone down. So sometimes they play a great role.
Yeah,
I thank God for giving us icebreakers.
Yes.
He does it
Yeah.
in that environment. Whether you have kids, there will always be an icebreaker. Maybe something that just happens and then you start laughing, you start smiling, and that is it.
Yeah.
You
The
begin
whole
to
thing
talk.
is gone, forgotten, past. You start a new page, very fresh.
Remembering that the two of you came together because of love, does that make a difference?
Yeah, sure, it makes a difference. And you come to realize that, is it Adventist home? It says love is a principle. And you know, the principle does not change. But these patterns and trends, they change. But if you remember what brought you together, I don't think there's someone who comes to marriage and says, I want to marry so that I break.
No.
That's why we say there is no single reason
Exactly.
from our opening remark. So you find that when you realize that love is a principle, you can stand soberly and say, even if this partner is wrong, I still go back to the principle that does not change. And if I realize it does not change, who is the maker of this marriage? It is God. Who gave me this person? It is God. And who can change this person?
It is
It
God.
is God. So it comes back to our mind that when we feel that we are stuck, remember love. God is love. And the love of God cuts across any barrier, cuts across any conflict, cuts across any argument, and cuts across anything that you purport in your mind, even your partner does not know. It resolves it down. Then you find yourself saying, hi, how are you today?
Tabi, I feel that we should have just ended it.
We need to even clap.
Beautiful. Thank you for that.
beautiful, yeah.
Now we want to give our final remarks, and at this point now, give some hope to this family that they are really trying to avoid. The patterns have already are created. How do we come out of this, Wycliffe?
Thank you. One thing we need to know is there is no single family on earth that does not argue. So the question is, how should we solve our argument? Because if we don't know how to solve our argument, then now the patterns will begin. And then maybe you are in one of the patterns which you have discussed. There is hope. The hope is just go back and face your pattern and negotiate.
Wow.
Brenda?
Thank you very much.
Just as you started, there is no single reason as to why our marriages should begin to break. Remember, the maker of this marriage, it's God. And the restorer of this marriage, it is God. And Satan always does not like this institution of marriage. But if you understand that love is a principle, God is the one who can make it stand. God is the chief cornerstone. For sure, you will know that there is no single reason that God cannot come up if you sit down, negotiate, and get the possible solution.
Wow. Beautiful. Tabi?
I should have talked before Brenda. Brenda, that's beautiful. To our dear viewer, I think one advice is just go back to your first love. Go back. Remember the things you used to do and be the bigger person.
Beautiful. Richard?
There is no reason whatsoever. Whatsoever. And I want to say that again and again. For a relationship that you have to break. Whether it's not doing or doing what you expected somebody to do. Whether it's something that one of you is doing which does not please the other one. There is no reason. You can still go back, down, sit, talk, take it to God in prayer, and everything else will fall in its place. There is no reason whatsoever.
Amen.
Thank you.
Amen. Linda?
To our viewer, know that when you make a mistake, we are human beings. We just need to talk. Solve one thing at a go so that it doesn't pile to the other side. So when we make a mistake, let's be quick to always say sorry before anything else comes again across. Yeah, so there's still hope. God still loves you, and he's still in the business of saving your marriage and using you to save others.
Had you not mentioned that, I would have said you were beginning to have a generalized pattern. God is still in the business of saving marriages, and even yours. Remember how you started. I believe you started with God. Take it to the Lord in prayer. Remember this love. Remember, create a family space where everyone can talk, and this will just be another conflict that has been solved. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much, Brenda and Wycliffe. When you go back, say hi to the people that know us. Say hi to the people who don't know us. Tell them to watch this show because it's a beautiful show. Tabby and Richard, it is always beautiful to have you. Linda, it's awesome to have you next to me. Give me a smile. So to our viewer, thank you so much for watching, and we hope that you have been blessed. Stay blessed because God is still working on you. Asante.